What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I'm going to be ranking my top 5 tight ends for the 2024 NFL Draft, starting with number 5, Theo Johnson from Penn State. He's 6'6", 259 pounds, ran a 4.57 40. Pretty athletic for his size. Fantastic Senior Bowl. That's where I really first took notice of him. Great hands as far as catching goes, and also great hands when he's blocking as well. Gets him inside pretty well. Really solid blocker overall, and actually can lead block a little bit at fullback and H-back, which is nice. Very competitive guy. Solid at getting yak. Burst and speed is above average for sure. Boxes people out well. He lines up at fullback, inline, H-back, in the slot. Like they move him all over the place. Plays with some anger to him. For a tight end, his route running is even pretty decent. Decent head and hand fake. And as I said, overall he does have good hands as far as catching the ball goes, but sometimes he does have some concentration drops that I want to see him improve on. Just trying to turn and run with the ball before he actually secures it, and that kind of leads to some drops. So that is something I want to see him improve on. Very physical player, and I think he's a solid second-round talent. I think this tight end class is pretty damn good, to be honest. Moving on, number 4, Cade Stover from Ohio State. 6'4", 247 pounds, ran a 4.65 40. Has a pretty nice stiff arm when he's getting yacked. That's one thing I noticed. He lines up at H-back, inline, and in the slot, mostly. Good hands, has some good speed and explosiveness to him, has the strength you're looking for. Has a good mentality for blocking, and for the most part is pretty good at it too. Sometimes he does just try to shoulder check people rather than actually lock on and block them, and it usually doesn't go super well. But when he actually does get his hands inside and really blocks someone, he's pretty good at it. He also tends to lunge at times. Comes in motion a lot at Ohio State. Actually pretty good at crack blocks in that regard. Climbs to the second level pretty well at blocking. Will absolutely get some big boy yak as well, and usually finds a way to fall forward. I think he's a really solid blocking tight end that can give you a lot of value as a receiver as well. Also a really good second-round talent. Moving on, we have number 3, Ben Sinnott from Kansas State, 6'4", 250 pounds, ran a 4.68 40. Also very good at the Senior Bowl. Gets his hands inside as a blocker. Very good blocking overall. Not much of a route runner, but he's a big time effort guy. Good burst off the line for the position. Long speed is solid. Doesn't create a ton of separation. And he will try his best to run you over as far as yak goes, which is nice. Can actually lead block a little bit. Lines up in line at H-back, fullback, in the slot. You can kind of move him all over the place. Very, very physical player. Pretty strong, but I think he can stand to get a little bit stronger. Great hands. Attacks the ball. Absolutely. Jumping could be a little bit better too. But I like him a lot. Again, really solid second-round talent. Moving on, number 2, Jatavion Sanders. From Texas, 6'4", 245 pounds, ran a 4.69 40. But I actually think he looks a little bit faster than that on film, to be honest with you. Some really good athleticism, really good burst and speed, especially for the position. Very good yak guy, will absolutely lower his shoulder into you. Really good in scramble drill as well. So if his quarterback is scrambling around looking for help, he's very good at just getting open and making an easy throw for his quarterback. Good body control and a very good catch radius. Not a crazy route runner. Overall, his hands are good, but he does have some focus drops. Kind of like I mentioned with Theo Johnson. Just trying to turn and run with the ball before he secures, and that creates some drops. At Texas, he lined up at H-back, inline, in the slot, and out wide even out at receiver, and played very well doing it. Has the attitude and willingness to block, but I think he could just stand to get a little bit bigger. And I think he could also stand to improve his technique. His hands are kind of all over the place, and I think he could stand to block with a better base as well. But he is definitely a willing blocker. I'll give him that. I could see this guy going anywhere like late first or somewhere in the second. I see him as a second-round talent, but There isn't usually 32 first-round talents in a draft, and there isn't in this case, in my opinion, either. So I could see him easily sliding into the first. Move on to number 1. No surprise to most, Brock Bowers from Georgia. 6'3", 243 pounds. Lines up inline, H-back, in the slot, and out wide. Pretty damn athletic and absolutely get you some yak and create a lot of matchup problems. Actually a really solid and angry blocker. It has some really good finish to him, which I love. Could stand to get a little bit bigger, that's for sure. I think an NFL strength and conditioning program I think will help him in that regard. Actually has a pretty good head fake as a route runner. And overall, route running for a tight end is actually pretty solid. Plays with a good base, and he's got good hands as a blocker. Has a little bit of wiggle to him, can make people miss a little bit. Plays with really good anger and tenacity to him. Really good contact balance, which is something underrated for a tight end. I would like to see him attack the ball a little bit more, but overall, like that's really my only big negative, and that's not even much of one. Definitely a first-round talent for my eyes. Tight end value can make things weird, so he could fall, but he definitely shouldn't in my eyes. So, yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, appreciate that like button. If you have any questions or comments in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.